Hello fellow humans and welcome to another episode of Your Replays, and today we're gonna start with the Tiger 1, one of the most legendary tanks of all time, and for some people the reason why they started playing in World of Tanks Blitz. Now, it isn't as great as people think it is, it wasn't even as great in real life as people think it was. However, looking at the stats of this vehicle, you got solid DPM, you got good weapon handling as well, 0.3 accuracy, and the mobility and the armor is fine as well, so there is nothing too bad and nothing too amazing about this vehicle in general. However, it's a good all-round package and also still a good entry at the moment because it is in the E100 line, and going to the E100 is one of the best ways to start off with this game. Now, ideally driving to the back of a tank is not a great idea, so ideally you shouldn't do that. If it comes to blocking, in most cases, the guy that's behind is the one causing the problem, because going forward, you know, it's not as important as going backwards if you're under fire. So if you are the guy at the back, you can get out of the way, try to do that. If you can't get out of the way, obviously there's nothing you can do, it's not your fault. So at this point, this is Dynasty's Pearl, which is a horrible map in my opinion. However, it can be played well if you know how to do it. First of all, you don't go to the A cap. It's a bad idea. You don't want to go there in regular battles as well, in normal battles. Because now, Supremacy, the enemies do have 2 cap circles, and that's kind of a problem I find with Supremacy. That Supremacy guilts a lot of people into going city, because a lot of Supremacy maps has 2 of their cap circles in the city section of the map, and therefore they will still go city section in standard battles, even though that is the absolute wrong thing to do. Which is the thing I don't like about Supremacy. There are a lot more people going city because that's how Supremacy works. If you sit in the cap circle in the city, you have a good chance of winning. Now at this point, we have a not great position here because there's 2 heavies on either side, and that's something you definitely want to avoid. You always want to have a maximum of 1 tank being able to shoot at you. Because if there's more, well, you can't use your armor in the front and in the back. That doesn't really work, just like that KV4 right here. And the KV4 is obviously tier 8, so it is pretty difficult to try and win. And PCEs here is going to now, with the help of the tier 49, go for that KV4. And there are only 2 tanks left now. However, the points are still there. And even though it's 2v5, you can still throw away. Do not underestimate the chance of World of Tanks Blitz teams to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. So, at this point, you want to be very careful. This KV4 doesn't seem like the brightest guy, and he is now the only one left. However, it's still a very high hit point, high armor vehicle, because it does take quite a while to kill this thing, and the points are ticking up, which is something you have to take care of in Supremacy, which is why I recommend do not turn on Supremacy if you are a new player. Keep it out of your hands. If you have something like 3,000, 4,000 battles, then you can go and try it. However, I would absolutely not recommend playing Supremacy to anyone that is remotely new to this game, because first of all, it's going to give you a wrong impression of where to actually go, because all the caps are in the cities, and second of all, it is going to add another variable that I have to consider that you shouldn't have to. But now, the points could have, if that KV4 would have killed him, it would have been a win for that KV4 because it would have reached 1,000 points, but in this case, it is not. With a very nice result there for Tiger 1, 3,000 damage. And with that, we move on to the WZ-120, a vehicle that is ignored by many people because it's just not very relevant. It is a 400 alpha damage vehicle at tier 9 that leads to the 121, which is a great tier 10. This thing isn't really the most accurate tank, and only has 5 degrees of gun depression, which is really, really bad. Penetration is not great either, 220 on the standard penetration. The heat rounds are better. And the mobility on this tank is somewhat solid, a powder weight ratio of 18, which is remarkable, sort of. Now, the armor on it, it's a Soviet-style vehicle, which means rounded turret, which means it has some turret armor. You can pen it right and left of the gun, though, because then the roundness isn't very round, it's just flat. So you can pretty much pen it there. The hull is pretty weak. Some tier 8s might struggle with it, especially tier 8 light tanks that have like 180 millimeters of penetration. However, most tier 9s, and especially the 10s, are going to go straight through it. So now we're going to skip the driving phase here and go straight back into the action because, I mean, there's just 1 minute of driving. So we now have arrived back in the middle of the map, and that is something very important that you always want to take care of is that you position yourself correctly. That if you see, okay, in this position, I can't achieve much, I can't do a lot of damage in this position, you move around, and we're going to do that again. We're going to move back, because now the enemies are coming off the hill, and now we have an opportunity to take them out, because they're already low, they're already bleeding hit points, and now it's sort of easy to kill them. 6v4, that is very good. Now, if you can take out guns, I would highly recommend doing that, because a dead tank can't shoot back. And now, a bit of a bit too fast peek here. I think that could have been done better, but then again, I do the same thing. And that's the thing about Blitz, you want to have fun, right? If you do things like that, it's not the most tactically useful thing, it's the exact wrong thing to do, but if you want to do it and you don't get punished for it, then you might as well pull it off, because here's the thing, it is way more fun to do dumb things and getting away with them than to do everything right and then ending up beating all the people that just play Blitz for fun and whatever, that don't even care what tank they're playing. So, seems like the Caro is a bit mad, but that's perfectly fine, I suppose. It's kind of sad that chat is off, because it was funny. It was kind of funny. But yeah, this vehicle, you're gonna have to get through it if you get to the 1-2-1. I can recommend it. The 1-2-1, not this one. This is one of those tanks that I just skipped with 3 XP because I had the opportunity to. So yeah, don't really. Yeah, but ideally you just play your tanks out, because if you skip everything with 3 XP, Wargaming is going to be very, very happy because you spent a lot of money, but you might end up not being able to play the tank as well as you could if you would have played the previous tiers correctly, because it does play very similar to the tier 10. So if you know how to play this thing, if you know how to play the tier 8, you'll be able to play the tier 10 and you have a good time. Now, again, aim your shots. It's one of the very most important things as well. Try to aim your shots, because if you do that, 3 seconds of aiming is less than 9.2 seconds of reload. Now at this point, there's only one guy left in a Kennedy 1, but you still want to be careful here. 932 hit points is not enough to survive a full clip from a Kennedy 1. So, you don't want to at this point throw away. If the Kennedy 1 shoots once, then you're perfectly fine. He can't kill you. You can absolutely go for it. However, he's also camo-less, which is another indicator for him not maybe being the best of players. But that is that. 4.6k damage for Daggermans here, which is a very nice result. So, hope you enjoyed. Maybe you learned something. Thank you very much for watching, and see you for the next one. Goodbye.